Okay. Thank y'all. Thanks, Brian. Like you said, I'm Casey Farmer. I am married to Zach. He's back there, and I have a 6-year-old named James and a 3-year-old named Alice. You've probably heard them during the service today. A little bit of background about me and St. Matthew's. I was a member here as a child from 94 to 99 with my family. And then we moved to South Mississippi, other churches. And then when Zach and I were getting married and we were going to be in the Madison area, I told him that St. Matthew's is where we would be going to church, and we didn't really have any discussion about that. But when I was a kid here at St. Matthew's and when we were members of churches elsewhere, my parents, they were always involved with the church. My grandmother has always been involved at the church with First Methodist in Starkville. So just being involved in the church has always been something that we've done. So when I started back in 2013, when Zach and I joined, I volunteered to be on the worship committee. I knew my mom had done that. I didn't really know what that meant, but I also knew that if you get involved, you get out of it what you put into it. And so I think that the first thing I did was kind of get communion volunteers. So that was kind of my first involvement. And then one day, Andy called me, and Andy had just started at the church, so I didn't know him. I didn't know why he would be calling me. But he asked if I would serve on SPRC. And so I said yes, because that is the number one thing that you need to know about me. I'm trying to get better about it, but if you ask me to do something, I will generally say yes. So I served on SPRC for 3 years. In that time, I had James, and James started coming to the weekday. And while he was at weekday, I noticed things that I thought could be better or I wanted to help improve on. And so I told Brian and Andy, I need you to put me on the weekday board next. Once I'm done with SPRC, I need to be on weekday. So that's the second thing about me. I am very bossy, and I think that I can fix things that I think are wrong. So I rolled off of SPRC and immediately got on weekday. I served on weekday board for 4 years. Most of the terms for our committees are 3, but I was chair for my 3rd year and then stayed for the 4th because we were in a transition time after COVID. New directors, as you can imagine, it was not fun to be on the weekday board at that time. But I did it, and I think that left it in a better shape than it was when I started. But I told Andy, I said, I'm done. I need a break. I can't do anymore. I'm tired. And then he called me in December of last year and asked if I would be on the discernment team. And as you're all aware, probably, the discernment team was tough. It was not my favorite thing to do, and to be very honest, I did not want to do it. I didn't want to do it because I had just done SPRC and then the board. I didn't really know what it was going to be like. There wasn't a whole lot of sense of what the organization was, what we would do, how it would work, and I knew it was going to be hard. But I talked to my grandmother, I talked to my parents, I prayed about it, and I realized that my church, St. Matthew's, needed me. It needed me to serve on this board, on this team. It needed my voice. It needed my bossiness. It needed what I had to offer. And it was not fun. I do not want to do it again. I will not do it again, so let's not discern again. But I knew that the church needed me, and so that is the 3rd reason that I volunteer. I say yes, I'm bossy, and I like to be in charge of things, but I know when the church needs me. And the church needs you right now. We lost a lot of people after the discernment vote. We've lost some leaders, but we've got a lot of leaders here too. And you may not be the kind of leader like me who says, I can fix this, I want to do this, put me on this team. But you have skills and you have gifts, and it takes all kinds of people. If the church was kind of like the lesson, one person can't do it. But if people like me, if the bossy people, the domineering people, if we were the only ones in charge, we'd be fighting all the time. We need people like Randy, who was on the discernment team with me, who's unflappable, quiet, collected. We need Kay Schlimmer, who has been here for years and knows everybody and everything, but again, is calm, cool, and collected. We need all these types of people to do things to make the church the church. And maybe administrative stuff isn't your style. I would like to stay away from the administrative things for a while. I do not want the monthly meetings, but I'm still volunteering and a part of the children's ministry. My husband and I, we teach Sunday school. We're on a rotation for that. We help where we can. There are other, like Brian said, there are a million committees in this church. There is a way you can get plugged in. And maybe it's not that monthly meeting, but maybe it's teaching Sunday school. Maybe it's helping paint the nativity figures. Maybe it's helping move the nativity figures, or even just serving as an acolyte, or you or your kids serving as acolytes. But your church needs you right now. And I encourage you to find the way that your gifts and your skills plug into the church so that we can continue to grow St. Matthew's and continue to be the church we've always been, which is a thriving, healthy, happy church. So.